Hey, Cross Park, have some updates for you today. First, I want to remind you that we are receiving officer nominations. So if you have any of those, just email them to me in the next 2 weeks, jeff@crossparkchurch.org. This Sunday, we are changing times. In two senses of the word, it is the time change at the end of daylight savings. Your phone will take care of most of the heavy lifting there, but I encourage you to change your manual clocks so that as we fall back into the normal time period, you won't miss the opportunity to come to Cross Park in the parking lot Sunday morning, where we are also changing the time. I don't know if it's easier or more confusing that we're doing it the same weekend. It probably doesn't really matter, but we are changing the time. Instead of meeting at 9 a.m. in the parking lot, we are meeting at 10 a.m. in the parking lot. And given the time change, weather-wise, it will be warmer. It'll be like it's 11 a.m., which will be good because it's going to be cold this Sunday. So bring layers, bring your chair, bring something hot to drink. Join us 10 a.m. Sunday morning with Ethan Brown preaching from Exodus 3. Really excited about hearing from Ethan. I've been doing a lot of reading recently, probably you have as well. And in addition to reading the Bible, reading theology books for my classwork and for my job, I've been reading all the articles that you have, articles about the pandemic and articles about the election. And a lot of these articles take the tone that this is really important moment in American history, and that if you don't take the perspective that the author takes, well, everything is all going to be over. It's never going to be the same. Well, in most cases, that couldn't possibly be true. If nothing else, the articles contradict each other. And however, there is something to be said for this, that we are in a key moment, because we never have any guarantee of the future of America. And in these moments, I think it's actually really important to restate that it is an important moment for us to wrestle with what's true, that we have very few promises about America. As great as America can be, and as awful as America can be with all of our weaknesses and failures, I want America to be a good place, a better place, a place of freedom and righteousness and justice for all, a place where we love our neighbors and where we do our best to help other people thrive. Those are good things. But there are very few promises about America we can hang on to. Whatever your vision for America is, it's not something that we can guarantee. It's not a promise that's made to us. On the other hand, there are lots of promises made to us about the people of God. And this is where Psalm 79 comes in. One of the places I was reading this week. In Psalm 79, it's an extremely tumultuous time in Israel. It's written right after, it seems, in reference to when the Babylonians conquer Jerusalem, destroy the temple, gouge out the eyes of the king, and carry off the people into exile. It is not a dicey moment. It's not a potentially problematic moment. It is an outright catastrophe. And so the psalm talks through what has happened to them. It calls on God to work, to change their circumstances. But then we get to verse 13. And this is not from our ESV translation. It's a different translation that I enjoy sometimes. But we are your people and the flock that you tend. We acclaim you forever. From generation to generation, we recount your praise. See, this is the stake that we have to drive into the ground, especially when all else feels like it might be blowing away. Whether the pandemic rages on and gets worse, whether it gets a lot better, or somewhere in between, we have to say, we are your people and the flock that you tend. If you are encouraged or discouraged by the outcome of the election, or simply by the whole system and the whole process, we are the flock that you tend. From generation to generation, we recount your praise. If you can't take much more of your online school or work from home, we are your people, and we acclaim you forever. If you are really worried that our culture is coming apart at the seams, and it may be, from generation to generation, we recount your praise. You know, we are told to not put our confidence in princes. Obviously, this means to wisely temper our hope that we put in human government, but it means more than that. It's a heart issue. Don't put your heart fully in any category other than in the kingdom of God, the kingdom that cannot be shaken. So the kingdom that's connected to your hopes and dreams, the hopes and dreams of your candidate, your political party, those things are okay, potentially. They could be even good, but they are not the place to put all your hopes, because all other kingdoms can and will be shaken. But the kingdom of Christ will not be shaken, and it will last. You know, we're experiencing these ups and downs, and they may be slightly exaggerated ups and downs compared to normal times. The ride has been wild recently. Or it may be that we are legitimately on the downslide into some sort of cultural degradation with great pain and frustration coming. The stakes are high, not because America must make it, and not even because we must change our culture, but rather the stakes are high because people's eternal futures are at stake, and they're bound up with our lives here on earth. Meaning, as we are able to trust God and enjoy Him above all else, and as that makes us more fully human, it allows us to love Him and love our neighbor. It allows us to care about the good of our neighbor, both the short-term and the long-term good. If we can show that we're most confident in the kingdom to come, I think it gives us an opportunity not only not to panic, but to be able to love the people fully around us, because we are learning to be more fully human as we follow Jesus, who is the perfect image of God. And so we can show and offer a fuller humanity to the people around us. This is part of what Jesus is wanting to do, even in our series on the new name. Part of what He's doing, and we'll talk about this later, is He's wanting to make us as fully human as possible. He's wanting to restore in us the image of God. The best way to have that perspective, to have that kind of real hope, is to be able to say, but we are your people and the flock that you tend. We acclaim you forever. From generation to generation, we recount your praise. Thanks, Cross Park. I hope this perspective encourages you, and we'll see you Sunday. Take care.